Anyway. All right, here we go. There we go. On, off, on, off. All right. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search that you may not know. It is available on Amazon. I did it because my brain got full, because every Friday we'd have speakers come to that networking group, and I just had to do a dump. And right now I'm about 70% full, so I'm about ready to do more things that I've learned about your job search that you may not know. In 2012, I got invited to the White House Forum on Job Clubs and Career Ministries. It was sponsored by the White House Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships, a really unique operation. I don't think they're in existence anymore, but it was through the Department of Labor. It was really great. There were 110 people there from all over the United States, from California to Florida to New York. And the nice thing was these people all cared about what they were doing. They presented what they were doing. We were only limited by the size of the room. The panel would get up, the next panel would sit down, and the panel that stood up would go sit in their seats because there was no other space there. But it was really a fascinating place. So when I came back, I was getting ready to rebuild the CareerDFW website. I had bought the name CareerUSA.org. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but this showed me that in 2012 there was nobody else doing something like CareerDFW in the country. Nobody, and as far as I know, there still really is no organization on a metroplex or a metro way doing the same thing. So what we did is I took all the generic stuff, put it on CareerUSA.org. You're welcome to check out both those websites at your leisure in the future. All right, CareerDFW, we're a 501c3 not-for-profit organization. We have no full or part-time employees. Everything I've done over the last 13 years has been as a volunteer. This is my little charity to give back to you to help you land your next great job. Donations and book sales keep the website and keeps everything going. You're welcome. We do have a LinkedIn group. We have a couple different LinkedIn groups. You can join the Career USA LinkedIn group. You're welcome to join a CareerDFW LinkedIn group. The CareerDFW LinkedIn group, both the groups started when we started the website. We have over 13,500 members in the CareerDFW LinkedIn group. You do not have to live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to be a part of that group. It's just, here's a group if you want to network with other people who are out, who understand what's going on. We do have a Facebook page, CareerDFW Facebook page. We do have a Career USA YouTube channel. I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but we do have over 290 recorded workshops there. Since COVID started and everybody went to Zoom, I went to Zoom also, and this is actually the 442nd workshop or seminar that I've put on since COVID started. So many of those are up on the Career USA YouTube channel. You can go back if you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Every time we post a new video, you'll get an alert to say it's available to go back and watch. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about the 4 big areas of your job search that I think you need to focus on. The 4 areas are your resume, LinkedIn, interviewing, and networking. So you got to have your resume. To me, that's the first thing you need to do. Then you populate your LinkedIn profile. Then you practice your interviewing skills, because a resume and a LinkedIn profile is not going to get you a job. All it does is it gets you a phone call. So depending on how well your interviewing skills are, will get you hopefully a job. And then we'll talk a little bit about networking. So what I'm going to talk about is about 20% of what I could talk about. If we had many more sessions, many more hours, I could go into a lot more detail, because I think anybody can. So I'm just going to sort of skim the top, cover a few highlights. Hopefully you'll take away a few things and put them in your job search. So we're going to talk about resumes first. I find that people, when they first get out of a job, get into analysis paralysis. They work on their resume and they work on their resume and they work on their resume and they don't do anything else. I think it's really tough for some people. All the stories that I'll tell you all come from my Friday networking group, because I don't make this stuff up, but I can repeat a good story when somebody says something. So I had a lady who was coming to my group when we were meeting in person, and she would be there 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. And, I'd ask her, so how's your job search going? Well, I'm still working on my resume. Now, 3 months into her job search, she's still working on a resume. She hasn't sent it out to anybody. She hasn't networked. She hasn't tried to go find a job. She's just been working on her resume, analysis paralysis. So my suggestion is, if you don't have a master resume, or if you're not sure what a master resume is, sit down and put down in one document everything you've ever done since high school, any job you've had, addresses, names of supervisors, 8 or 10 bullet points for every job, successes that you've had. You list everything. It could be a 10, 15, 20-page document. Then you take that document, and when you see a job description, you customize your resume so that you delete everything that's not in the job description, because you want to get that match. So if it's not in the job description, you don't need to talk about it on your resume, because you want them to call you up. Now, once you get into an interview, yes, you can tell stories about other things that maybe were not, moved on, but make it simple for that recruiter to see the match. You got to remember, your resume is just a hook. As I said, your resume isn't going to get you a job. It's going to get you a phone call. So you want to make sure you keep the details in the job description. You want to make sure that every bullet point you have has a result. I see resumes all the time. It's just unbelievable. I mean, I see them, and the resumes read like a job description. Don't tell me what you did or what you were supposed to do. Tell me what you did and tell me the results of what it was you did. Because if I'm going to hire you, I'm going to hire you because I need someone to fix a problem at my company. And by reading your resume, you did this at this other company, and I need you to do it for me too. So you've got to have results in your bullet points. You want to make sure you do not blindly send out resumes, okay? You're just screaming, help me, I'm looking for a job. And when you blindly send out a resume, you don't know what they're looking for. So unless you have a job description, or unless you've had a conversation with somebody to find out what are their needs, don't blindly send them out. Don't post a resume on LinkedIn. Once again, you're posting a generic document, and you may have the perfect qualifications for what they need, but you didn't talk about it because you don't know exactly what they need, okay? I recommend you consider a one-page bio. I think a one-page bio is an extremely, extremely effective tool, because you can use it for networking. You can use it for the initial contact with a headhunter, because it tells people who you are in a general term. You're not getting into a lot of specifics. So there's a book that I recommend, and it's called Be Sharp. Minna, every time I do one of these presentations, Minna has a few sales in her book on Amazon, but it's Be Sharp. Make sure it's the second edition, because the second edition, they rewrote the entire back half of the book about the one-page bio. It has 30 or 40 bios in it. I just highly recommend the book. It's Minna Brown and Paula Asanoff are the two people who wrote the book. It's one of the 3 books that I recommend everybody have in their library. The first half of the book talks all about how to do a 30-second introduction, how to present yourself to other people when they ask, well, what do you do? And then, like I said, the second half is about the bio. I think the bio is, like I said, a very effective tool. When you're dealing with an ATS system, applicant tracking system, you have to remember that there's well over 100 different ATSs out there, okay? Everyone's a little bit different. So you've got to make sure your resume that you submit on an ATS is basic, generic, plain. No special characters, no special formatting, no hyperlinks. You can use the bullet, just the single little bullet, but don't use the star, don't use a little arrow. You just keep it. All the systems I know will recognize the little bullet. You want to make sure you don't use the header or the footer information on Microsoft Word, because a lot of the systems just don't see headers. They don't see tables. And you want to make sure that your keywords align to the job description. Keywords, keywords, keywords are just so very, very important. You make sure you want to focus on results and accomplishments. And I've talked about that. Every bullet point has to have a result, okay? If you're going to tell me what you did, tell me what the result was of what you did. That's very, very important. So one of the games that one of the recruiters shared with me, and it's I think it's a very effective tool. Read your bullet point underneath, read every bullet point one at a time, and then play the so what game. After you read the bullet point, say, so what? If you had a result that you saved $1 million, that you did X, you did Y, then you've accomplished your bullet point's going to mean something to somebody. If you don't have a result, by playing the so what was the result, and then you need to reword your bullet point. I recommend that you start a bullet point with an action verb, because recruiters are not going to read a detailed resume. What they're going to do is they're going to scan the resume. They're going to read the first 3 to 4 words of a bullet point, and if they like it, they'll keep going. So if you can start out with an action verb, you're trying to attract their attention. Here are a couple common resume mistakes that we see all the time: spelling and grammatical errors. Think about it. A recruiter has on their desk 100, 200 resumes. Well, they don't print them out anymore. Now they're on their computer, they just scan through them. So what are they doing? They're looking for 5 to 10 people to talk to. As soon as they see a mistake, they're going to be on to the next person. They're just looking to get rid of you. Okay. What is it that I can, oh, I don't like that on the resume. Boom, I'm on the next thing. Oh, no results, on the next one. Oh, that person went to university, their email address is a university I don't like. Boom, on to the next one. Oh, you're an AT&T customer and you're applying for a job at Verizon. Well, all the AT&T.com email addresses, they're out. So, they're just looking for anything. So, just be very, very careful. Spelling mistakes, grammatical errors, make sure that you have the correct tenses, present tense, past tense for current and past jobs. You want to make sure you use a professional, don't use an unprofessional email address. No Sarah loves kitty cats at gmail.com. That's not going to get you a job. That's going to get you into the reject pile. You've got to make sure that every bullet point demonstrates and quantifies results. Like I said, results sell. And then if your format or your design is too elaborate. My daughter happens to be a UX designer, user interface designer for websites. And she was laid off from IBM last year when they laid off 25,000 people. IBM made it real simple. If you work in this building, you're gone. And everybody in her building was laid off. Didn't matter who they were. And so does she listen to dad? No, your kids don't listen to you. But, and I've been doing this for quite a while. And I said to Alex, she put in some fancy graphics and stuff, and it was all cute. And it matched her website that she created for her job search. And I said, Alex, this isn't going to get you a job. Well, thankfully, IBM paid Right Management or one of the Lehigh Harrison or whoever to coach anybody. And she got some coaching advice, and her resume landed up looking just like I would have advised her if she had listened to dad. But, oh well. Life lessons. A couple other common mistakes: too much text. Your resume should be 2, maybe 3 pages, not longer. Now, if you're applying for a government job or an education job, they want to know everything. So they want your 5, 10, 15-page resume. Talk a little bit about past and present tense. Make sure that your current job will have present tense and could have a past tense if you worked on a project last year that's now completed that you're talking about. But if all of your past jobs need to be in past tense. I know people, their resumes have gotten thrown out by recruiters because they had the wrong tense on there. They're going, if they don't have this, can't pay attention to this amount of detail, I don't need them working for me. You do not need to mention references available upon request. If they want them, they will ask you. And be sure that you customize to match the job description. We've talked about that before. So very, very important that your resume matches what's in the job description. So one of the things that CareerDFW and Career USA is doing since COVID started, we're putting on the first and third Thursdays of the month at 1 o'clock Central Time. We have an effective resume class. We have different people who are teaching it. I teach one of them, and then we have a guest speaker who comes in on the third Thursday of the month. So it's an hour and 10-minute session. We will be glad to review your resume if you'd like to submit your resume. Everything is on the CareerDFW Facebook page. It's on Zoom, and we record all of them, and they're all going to be on the Career USA YouTube channel if you'd like to go back and watch them. So please, if you'd like to join us every Thursday at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock Virginia time. All right, the next session we're going to talk about is LinkedIn. Any questions about resumes, Dave? Did you see anything in the chat box? Been there with my kids, adult kids. They don't want any advice. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, that's the way it is.
Yeah, no, it looks like Eve has a question. And Eve, maybe you want to come up audio.
Right. Thank you. Question. We have some job seekers right now that are getting frustrated in their search, and they're asking if they should dummy down their resumes when they're at a point in their life where they're actually looking for a second career that might not have been as high powered as they once had. They're looking for something a little more work-life balance as far as the position.
I think that boils down to customizing your resume, because if you're talking about the time when you were a CEO, but now you just want to do a part-time accounting job, that's not in the job description. So don't tell them what they don't need to know. Just talk about what it is you can do to help them in their position. So if you worked at a company and you were the CEO and now you're just, you could just say you were an accountant. I mean, CEOs are accounting people. I don't say you're dumbing down your resume, but, unless there's a speaker who out of the Minneapolis, St. Paul area, and her advice is don't waste your time applying for any job online. You want to network your way in. And we'll talk about networking a little bit, about how effective networking is, and just sending out resumes and filling out resumes, you're spinning your wheels in most times. So, get that master resume. If you see a job description you want, customize it, make it match, get it, only tell them what they want to know, and then wait for them to call you. And if you get a phone call, fine. If you don't, you don't. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about LinkedIn now. So there is over 800 members in the around the globe who are on LinkedIn. 180 million people in the United States. I mean, that's half the population in the United States. Now, the problem is we had a LinkedIn presentation today by a guy who pays $10,000 for a full-blown recruiting package. Of those 800 million people that show up in his search, only 78 million people are active on LinkedIn. So, there are a lot of people out there that just have their name and city and address, and that's it. And they don't really say what it is they do. There are a lot of LinkedIn profiles that are not very good. But, I just sort of wanted to point this out that, if a LinkedIn profile can help you. So here are a few statistics. This is from the January off the website from LinkedIn. 77 job applications were submitted every second on LinkedIn. There are 10 million people using the Open to Work banner. I think that number is actually a little bit higher. According to today, when we looked, there were 68 million people open to work. Now, this may be just in the United States, but there are 68 million people of that 800 million who say that they're open to work to recruiters. 45 million people use LinkedIn to search for jobs every week. 4 people are hired every minute via LinkedIn. There are 57 million companies listed on LinkedIn, and there's 120,000 schools that are listed. Don't forget the schools, because alumni associations are a great place to network with people and to find other people to talk with. So you've got to make sure your LinkedIn profile is current and fully developed. So you've taken your resume, that 15-page resume. I don't say put everything on your LinkedIn profile, but you want to whet the appetite. You want to tell somebody what it is you can do to help them. A company is going to hire you because they have a problem. You're a problem solver. If you think in that mindset of how can I help you, that'll make a big difference. I happened to hear of a candidate who was being interviewed at a company like a couple of weeks ago, and they said, yeah, during the interview towards the beginning, I said, so tell me, what can I do to help you? And the interviewer was sort of startled by saying, nobody's ever said that to me before. Here's what we really need. So, just remember that you're here to help them solve a problem. Can somebody reach out to you easily? This is just the most amazing thing to me. LinkedIn, back when I got on LinkedIn 15 years ago, there was no separate place for contacting. There was no place to really put a phone number and an email address. So I had to put it in the About Me section. But now there's a contact section for you to put your contact information. Put your contact information there. Put your contact information in the About section. You put down who it is you're doing. Your About section is written in first person, and you tell somebody how you can help them. And then you say, please feel free to reach out to me. How can I help you? Put your phone number and email address. Now, I know some women don't want to put the phone number out there because they don't want to be, it could be harassed or whatever. Get a Google Voice number. Google Voice is free, and it would automatically forward to your cell phone. So it's a great way to be able to do something like that. You've got to make sure you have a focus statement title. Get out of the way here. The title statement. You want to have something like you're an experienced Java front-end developer or a talented marketing brand manager. So once again, I'm starting these with action verbs to make them make a little bit, to make it a little bit more exciting. Here's my front page. This is my head, what I have. If you go look at my profile, I actually put my phone number and email address in my banner. I built a banner across the top, a word cloud that says who I am. I'm talking about my book over on the right-hand side. But what this allows me to do, is anybody who gets to my profile can reach out to me easily. Now, my information is also in the contact information, and it's in the About Me section, the About section. So it's 3 different places to make it easy for people to reach out to somebody. Now, you want to make sure you've got to have a professional email and a closest large city state, okay? So you may not want to put on your LinkedIn profile that you're in Vienna or McLean or Great Falls or Reston. Yes, those are all great cities. You probably want to use the either Arlington or the Washington, D.C. Metroplex. I don't know what they call, what the Metroplex would be right there. But by doing that, you're making your search or making people who find you in a bigger search. Now, if you decide you live in Vienna and you don't want to drive to College Park every day, that's your choice to make, but you wait until, you want to cast the biggest net you can. Always send a personal note with any LinkedIn invite. Hopefully nobody here tonight has sent me a LinkedIn invitation yet, because if you did and you didn't send a personal note, I will delete it, okay? Because I don't know why we should connect. Just tell somebody when you connect with somebody why I saw you here tonight. I hate your blue background. I wish it would be purple or pink, or I wish you had a colored shirt or whatever. Just tell me something and I'll connect with you. That's all I ask. But tell me a reason why we should connect, because it'll make more sense. And even on a cell phone, you can do this. This is a screenshot off of an iPhone. It's a dated one because I think they've replaced that more button with a little hamburger, the 3 little slashes or the 4 slashes. But if you click on that, it opens up a sub screen that says personalized invite. So there's no excuse for you to ever not send a personal note when you send an invitation. Here's another little hint. So here's somebody on LinkedIn. I don't know if you've noticed that sometimes there's a white connect button and sometimes there's a blue connect button. If you accidentally click on that white connect button, the white connect button sends the automatic generic invitation and does not give you an option to send a personal note. So what you need to do is click on the person's face let's see here if I did that right. Yeah, click on the person's face, and then it'll take you to their personal profile, and then you will always find a blue connect button. And when you find the blue connect button, you can always send that personal note. Okay, to complete your profile, you have to complete your profile to achieve all-star status. LinkedIn doesn't make it as important. They don't show the all-star status like they used to, but if you look at your profile, you can still click, you can still see if you're an all-star or not. But to do that, you have to have a current position, a location, an industry, summary, pick at least 5 skills. You can have up to 50, list an education, and put a photo on there. Well, Jeff, I don't have a current job. I'm unemployed. What am I supposed to do? So what you do is you create a new position. You list the job title as 2 or 3 of the job titles that you would like to have. Could be the exact same job titles you have listed up under your headline. For the location, or no, for the company name, you put your email address and your phone number. And then down below in the field where you describe the job, you list 2 or 3 of your successes. And then you say, feel free to reach out to me. How can I help you? You can put your phone number and email address a second time. And then I also recommend adding the hashtag ONO. So ONO is open to new opportunities. It's really prevalent, at least in the DFW area. A lot of recruiters, they'll do searches for candidates that put in their profile someplace ONO. So profile pictures. There's really none on the top row that I would use. The top right-hand picture, that person's name is Gail. Is it Gail her or Gail him? I don't know. Gail happens to be a recruiter. I think her husband at the time was overseas. He was in Afghanistan serving at the time. I think that's why she did a co-picture. But you know, I've told her, I said, Gail, thank you for this because I will use this in every presentation I ever give. So the best pictures that I like are the bottom 2, the one right in the middle, the bottom, and the black and white one is okay. The one there, open to work, it's too far away. It needs to be closer. You know, you can tell that first picture, the guy in the vest, you know, it's too bright behind him. I mean, you need some light in front of you to make it look right. You know, the guy in the purple shirt, background's too busy. The lady, yeah, it's a nice professional shot, but that's not a headshot that you want to use on LinkedIn. You want the shot to be, you know, right above, right, just shoulders up. Because personally, I use LinkedIn when somebody sends me an email. Jeff, you know, if they're asking for help or whatever, and I don't recognize who they are, I go to their LinkedIn profile and go, oh yeah, I remember that face. I'm good with faces. I'm not good with names. So just as a no, you know, the best 2 photos here or this one right here and the one right next to it. You know, get a decent looking photo, plain background to make it easy for people to see. Your headline, make sure it's a job title that you're applying for. If you were the chief people person at company XYZ, there are not a lot of job requirements for chief people person. So what you may want to do is in parentheses, you put, you know, you have chief people person, parentheses, director of talent acquisition, or head of human resources, or whatever a regular job title would be. So make it easy for people to be able to find you. Open the new job opportunities. Yes, if you're looking for a job, be sure to open up that you're open to new opportunities, and you have 2 settings. The first setting is you can do it without the banner. The second one is you can do it with the banner. I recommend you use it with the banner. It's been a discussion. I have 4 speakers who talk about LinkedIn and rotate through on a monthly basis. And they had an email going through this last week and about what do you think about the open to work banner? And one guy said, well, you know, he trains recruiters. And he says, I interviewed 50 recruiters. 45 of them said, yes, use the open to work banner. 5 of them said, well, it could make you look a little desperate. Here's my point. Here's my take on the whole thing. Everybody's been hired, fired, laid off, riffed, downsized, upsized, right-sized, whatever. It's not a sin, or it's not a virus if you're unemployed. I mean, 20 years ago when you were unemployed, people were like, stay away from me. I don't want to be next to you because you could rub off on me. Nowadays, everybody's done it. And if they haven't, they will be laid off in the next couple of years. Okay. It's going to happen to them too. So use the open to work banner. And my other reason is a lot of people, a lot of recruiters, maybe 50% of recruiters, maybe a little bit more, don't pay LinkedIn $10,000 a year to use the recruiting package. So how do they find somebody? They find somebody using the hashtag O&O. They find somebody when they see the open to work banner on there. And then my third point is your personal contacts in LinkedIn go, oh, I didn't know you're looking for a job, Mike. Let me reach out to you. Let me see, if I can help you in any way. So you want to let as many people know. So there's no use the banner. Long story short, use the banner. Okay. In the about section of your thing, you want to make sure you use keywords from your profession. The about section on LinkedIn is the largest section. It's I think either 2,000 or 2,200 characters, which is the largest section on LinkedIn. So you want to make sure that a couple things. Number one, your paragraph should be no longer than three lines per paragraph, because I see things and they're 10, 15 lines. It's a novel they're written. You've got to remember, people scan LinkedIn. They scan the computers. They're not going to read 10 or 15 lines, but they'll read 3 lines. So 3 lines, 3 lines, 3 lines, 3 lines. Be sure to include your contact information either at the very top or at the bottom, whatever is convenient, whatever works best for you. And then underneath that, and you're welcome to go look at mine and you'll see how mine's sort of arranged. Underneath that, I put a bunch of keywords. So I'll put a keyword, I'll put the little hashtag, next keyword, next to, that if somebody's searching, they're going to find those keywords. On LinkedIn, you need to have those keywords there 3 to 5 times so that people can find you. So you have it in your about section and you have a keyword in a couple of your jobs that match. If you don't know what keywords are or where to find keywords, go look at other people's LinkedIn profile. Type in the position you're looking for, see who pops up, look at their profile and go, oh yeah, I've done that. Oh, that's a good word. I need to add that word to my profile. You want to make sure you're found, okay? In the experience section, your job title, and like I said, if it's an unusual job title, add the job title used in the industry. Also, in some cases, you'd be called a project manager, but maybe you have some more description as far as exactly what that project manager is called. So you can put in the parentheses if you specialize in a couple different fields, what it is you do. And once again, you include keywords from your profession because there's another opportunity to add more things in. You've got to have education. If you've got any awards you've received, certifications, professional development, none of those sections were around back when I got on LinkedIn, but now they've got fields for everything. You never know what somebody's looking for what they're looking for when they type something in or they're doing a search. Skills, you can have up to 50 skills. I recommend 40 to 45 would be great. Don't list skills if you're C-suite, if you're a high-level person, don't list Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, because if you're a C-suite person, you better know that. Now, if you're an admin, yes, you need to list those skills because those are things that you would find on a job requirement. If you manage people, make sure you have some interpersonal skills listed. Just don't say manager, whoop-de-doo, manager. Give me something team building, team builder or something like that to make sense. And then you need to have a couple current recommendations. You really should have 2 or 3 from 2020 and 2021. I see profiles and their last recommendation was from 2014. You might as well just turn that off because it's not going to show, it's not going to help, okay? Have something sort of current. Okay, a couple settings that you want to make sure you turn off. Number one, or turn off, turn on. Number one, you want to turn off people also viewed, okay? This is in your privacy and settings. Have you ever looked at somebody's profile on LinkedIn and on the right-hand side, other people like Joe. And there are 10 other people who do the exact same thing Joe does. Well, why do you want to promote other people? You're here to promote you. So turn that feature off. I think it's on by default, so you need to go in and physically turn that off. That just eliminates that. So there's no reason to promote anybody else. We're promoting you. You want to turn on, let recruiters know that you're open to new opportunities. Okay, so that's adding the green banner. Just be sure to put that on there and fill that out. You can pick 5 jobs you're looking for. You can tell them if you want remote work, full-time, part-time. You can give some detail. Put that information in there because you just never know what they're going to be looking for. Be sure to follow any company that you're interested in. Okay, so if you're interested, I mean, you won't probably not going to be interested in working for DFW Airport, but if you want to work at Dulles International or whatever, call up the company name and click on follow. Here's why. On the recruiting package, or in the recruiting package, when they do a search, what happens is recruiters tend to click on people that are open to work, people that are active on LinkedIn, and then they'll type in, I'm looking for a project manager, whatever, and then maybe put a couple keywords in. Up comes a search. So the 8 million people, they're down to 87 million people. They're down to maybe 400 people. Well, one of the options they have across the very top is people who follow this company. So if you're following a company, people may click on that, and that 400 candidates may be down to 45 candidates. They're probably going to look at them because they're going, well, they're already following the company, so they may know what we're doing already. They have an idea, so I'm going to look at their profiles first. So follow any company that you're interested in. On LinkedIn, you need to be active, okay? You need to post, share, and like something. My recommendation is that you post something once a week. Where do you post? What do you post? You have to get something from outside of LinkedIn and bring it in. There's a service called Feedly, F-E-E-D-L-Y, feedly.com. Eve, I see you writing everything down, okay? I can tell, I say something, you sit down, you're scribbling. You want to post something once a week, preferably on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, because Mondays and Fridays, as you know, the people either want to get out on Fridays or they just got back in on Monday. So if you can post an article from the outside once a week, that's great. If you can share something, that earns you the next amount of points. Each one of these are points. Posting gets you the most points. Like at the very bottom gets you the least number of points, but it does make you active. So if once a day you can share something, you see somebody else's story that they posted, you see something and you share it to your network, and if you add a comment, that gets you the next amount of points. Then you can just share something with no comments, and then the least amount of things is just to like something. Go out on your feed and like something. Go into groups, go into your groups and like things in the groups. Now, I didn't realize this until recently. Somebody said, hey, I can't like your article. You know, I'm posting something every day. I can't like it. It only likes me to like it. I can't share it. If you're looking at something inside of a group, you can only like something because you're liking what the group is talking about. If you're looking at your main news feed, you can share any of those items because those aren't necessarily going to your news feed. Okay, so that's the difference. You can only share from the main news feed. So like if I posted something and you can only like it, but you like to share it, go to my personal page, then look for things that I've posted, and then you'd be able to find it and then share it from there because you're sharing it from somebody's personal page. You always want to reply to any LinkedIn InMail or connection request. Now, I told you I don't connect, if people don't send me a personal note, I just hit delete and off we go. But any LinkedIn InMail you want to respond to, because once again, LinkedIn's keeping track if you're being active, even if you're not interested. No, thank you. I mean, I get stuff, people try to sell me this, sell me that. And you got to remember, LinkedIn is it's not the platform to sell, okay? Salespeople, I block any salesman. I unconnect with anybody who tries to sell me something. But here's a place to share information, to make connections with other people. So be sure to reply to any LinkedIn InMail. Just say thank you very much, even if you're not interested. and make sure that you get make sure your in-mails are being forwarded to your personal email accounts, so that you don't have to check in. If you don't get an in-mail, you don't have to, if you don't check in LinkedIn for a few days, that's fine. But you've got to make sure that you've got your email set up so you're getting any email that gets sent to you. So we do a LinkedIn presentation every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern time. You're welcome to join us. We have 4 different experts who talk about LinkedIn. One of them works for Lee Heck Harrison. One of them is, has been in the recruiting business for 40 plus years and is retired. Another person runs a marketing firm. And then the person who talked today is a retained search consultant. He pays at $10,000 a year, and he shows it's really cool to see the back end of what LinkedIn charges people for and how it works. So you're welcome to join us any Tuesday. Presentations, like I said, past ones are all up on the Career USA YouTube channel. I'll give you an email address if you'd like to join our mailing list, where you'll get the daily email. We'll talk about that out here. So let's see here. Coming up next. All right. Any questions about LinkedIn? Let's see here. I see there's a few questions here.
Yeah, we got a few questions. And Jerry, do you want to ask your question? You were asking about the mobile slide.
Alrighty. Oh, when you were talking about the mobile access, it had a blue connect button, but you went through the send a professional invite. Is that an exception to use the blue button for connection?
If there's a blue button, you should be always able to send a personal note. LinkedIn changes LinkedIn every day. I go into LinkedIn, that's why I hesitate a lot of LinkedIn screens, because they change things, and so if they've changed the mobile app, I haven't looked at I don't use the mobile app for LinkedIn on my phone, because to me, it's too restrictive. I'd rather have the full screen to be able to see something. So they may be changing. They may have changed what it is they're doing.
Yeah. I had a question. You mentioned hashtag ONO, open to new opportunities. Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's what it stands for. That hashtag, at least here in the DFW area, really became prevalent a couple years ago, before LinkedIn came out with the open to work banner and hashtag open to work. You can put both of them if you want on there. I'm just saying that, and maybe that's why LinkedIn came out with the open to work thing. I mean, because they saw it was a lot of hashtags were trending on. But yeah, open to new opportunities, ONO. That's what that stands for.
It's not the open to the fifth Beatle.
No.
Okay. Let's see. We had so there's an active rating on LinkedIn. How does a recruiter know that I am active?
LinkedIn does not share that information with anybody. All recruiter knows, if the recruiter is paying for the full-blown recruiting package. And I don't know, there's a full-blown package and there's a recruiter light package. And so I'm not sure what the recruiting light package is, but the full-blown recruiting package, one of the options they have, and the guy who spoke today, it's the first thing he clicks on, because if the person's not going to respond or not active on LinkedIn, they're not going to respond. He's wasting his time if he was to try to reach out to them. So nobody knows what the algorithm is. It's top secret.
Okay. Scott had a question. How many or how much does not responding hurt you?
Top secret information. Sorry, I can't share that information. I don't know that information. LinkedIn doesn't share.
And how long does getting back to does it take to correct it?
And I don't think it's necessarily, like I said, I don't respond to people, or I just delete people who don't send me a thing. But I'm active on LinkedIn. I'm posting something every day on LinkedIn, and I'm trying to share something once a week. So it shows me as being active, but I don't think there's, as far as getting back in, who knows until they've updated their algorithm. And, their algorithm for part of the country A could be different than part of country B, because they don't necessarily roll out the same thing to everybody at the same time. They test drive a lot of things.
Is it important to have skill endorsements?
Personally, I think they're a waste of time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, people go and they'll acknowledge me. You know, if you want to acknowledge me, if you want to, you know, take me for a skill for public speaking or knowledge of career stuff, that's fine. But, you know, somebody goes and says, I'm a great manager. What do they know? They never worked for me. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's a bunch of hokey pokey. To me, it's just a matter of getting the words up there, because that's another place to be searched that LinkedIn may find you.
Mhm. Gail, you had a question. You want to come up on voice and ask that
Yeah,
guy?
it wasn't a question. There've been a number of people I've been following like you, and it would let me follow, and then I couldn't figure out how to connect. I felt like a dummy because you got to go inside the little round box with the 3 dots. And then sometimes it'll say they don't really like people to connect. What's their email? And half the time people put their email in the about section, contact.
Right.
So it's like, okay, you know.
I pointed that out to somebody a week or two ago, and they went, oh, I didn't know I was set up to do that. I want people to connect with me. He didn't have 500 connections, but he had 400 some odd people following him. It was
Right.
like, I didn't realize that was happening. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to click on the little 3 dots and hopefully it says connect. And
Yeah.
you know, and the other thing you can do too is I wanted to connect with somebody here in the DFW area I saw who happened to join the CareerDFW LinkedIn group. And I tried to connect with him. Well, he was set up to follow only. But because I was connected to him through a group, I was able to send him a direct message, and he then connected with me, and now we're connected. So, you know, you just have to work your way around.
I was also told that if you have more than 99 of the skills, then somebody looks at that really favorably, which is a lot. It's
No,
hard
to
to
me,
do.
it's all hokey pokey. I think that whole,
Yeah.
you know, if I was writing the algorithm, that wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
But if I was in charge of LinkedIn, you couldn't send a connect request without sending a personal note.
Yeah.
You would be forced to write something, but
Yeah.
I haven't been elected king of LinkedIn. All right, let's see here. I think we
Yeah,
can-
Jerry, I don't know if you had a comment, Jerry, or wanna expound upon your note there.
Oh, that note was just the link up to Richard Vander Blom is one of the folks that did some back end research, and they've published a 44-page summary of what they found. And yes, 44-page summary.
Oh, all right, I will be reading that tomorrow. That'll be tomorrow morning's readings. All right, let's move on here. Interviewing. So as I said before, resume and your LinkedIn profile is not going to get you a job. It only gets you a phone call. Your interviewing skills are what's going to get you a job. So you've got to be prepared for an interview. Every bullet point on your resume should have a story. Write them down, okay? I recommend you get index cards. And on the index card here that I've got, I put STAR, so that the very top line, I put my bullet point, and then I'm going to put, here was the situation, here was the task, here was the action I took, and here was the result. By writing it down physically, not in a computer, but handwriting it, it helps burn it into your brain. Now, you're not going to write here the exact story that you're going to say, but this is just the highlights for you to go as you're maybe sitting outside the place before you're being interviewed. You get there a half hour early. You can sit there and go, okay, I got this one. All right, I got this card. Oh yeah, all right, here's this story. You know, you can rehearse your star stories and be ready to answer questions. It just helps you go. Very, very important. You've got to keep your answers 45 to 60 seconds. We used to say 60 to 90 when you were meeting in person, but online, people lose within, you know, less than a minute. People, if you're not telling something interesting, they're going to move on. So short, sweet, to the point. You can always, at the end of the bullet, after your story, say, would you like to know more? I have more details that I can expand on if you'd like. Did I answer your question? Okay, so keep it short, tell them the bullet point, don't forget the result, because results sell. Some people like to lead off with result. Well, there's a time that I saved our company $10 million. Here is what happened. Here are the actions I took. So you're catching them at the beginning. So there's STAR, if you flip it around, it's RATS, result, action, task, situation. I like RAW, R-A-W, result, action, and why. Why did I have to do this? Why did we do this? So I like the RAW method, but everybody knows the STAR method. Okay, to be prepared for an interview, you've got to be able to answer these questions. Why do you want to work here? There's a recruiter I know. In fact, she's actually going to be our presenter this Friday at our Friday group. She says every person that she interviews, the question she asks them is, why do you want to work here? And if they don't have a good answer, they don't move on. So be prepared with a reason why you want to work for that company. How much did you make at your last job, salary requirement, whatever it is, just be prepared. You know, a lot of people, they can't ask anymore. And quite frankly, what I made at my last job, this job isn't a last job. You know, I'm taking a step back or whatever it is. So to me, the answer is, if they ask that question, according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, a project manager in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, their annual average salary is somewhere between $65,000 and $95,000 a year. I'm sure that whatever you're paying is going to be fair and equitable. Who's not going to take fair and equitable? You know, I mean, I love the words fair and equitable. Now, if you want to have fun with them, you can say, well, my manufacturer's suggested retail price is $125,000, and I can't give away my services for free because nobody pays full price. I'm sure we can come up with something that's fair and equitable in the middle. If you want to, if you think you can have fun, but I've used that once or twice, and I did get a chuckle out of the other person. The last question is, why did you leave your last job or the job before that, or any job? Keep it short. Never, never, ever be negative to a prior person, okay, or to the prior company. You want to make sure no negativity to a prior boss, negative company. I learned a lot while I was there. I was riffed along with 15 other people or 30 other people or 2,500 other people, whatever that number is. So keep it short and sweet. 10+1 rule. I love this. This came from here in the DFW area, we have something called the practice interview team. And I'll talk more about that in just a second. But one of the interviewers there always had the 10+1 rule. And the 10+1 rule is have 10 questions ready to ask every time you go into an interview. So you need to prepare 10 questions. His goal was to try to get 5 of them asked before they ask you, well, do you have any questions? So when you're telling a story, when you're telling your STAR story about you're answering their question, you can always say, well, have you ever had that issue happen here before? Okay, what can you do to make it a conversation, not an inquisition? Now, with the initial recruiter who calls you up, they've got 10 questions they've got to ask everybody before they say, let me get through my 10 questions and I'll take your questions. And they may or may not be able to answer that. One of the great questions to ask, though, when somebody calls you up, what was it that made you call me? What was it on my LinkedIn profile? What was it on my resume that made you pick up the phone and call me? Because now you know what's important to them. You never, ever know what's important to them. And then the +1 question is the very bottom. Always ask for the job. Ask for the next step. What do we do? What do we do next? You always want to find out what the next step is going to be. You want to be sure to express even greater interest in the position, referring to the opening statement. And I'll talk about opening statement here in just a second. And you want to be asked to advance to the next job. The question that I like to ask is at the end, how do I compare to the ideal candidate? Not how do I compare to the other candidates? How do I compare to the ideal candidate? I could care less about everybody else who's coming in. If I was a purple squirrel, how much do I compare to that purple squirrel? Okay. So here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we have something called the Dallas Pit Crew, the Dallas Practice Interview Team. Since COVID, they've been meeting online. In 2020 and 2021. They actually put on a 13-part workshop, and I'll show you those lessons in just a second. In 2022, in anticipation of going back live at some point in the next month, a couple months, we hope, they are now doing a practice interview live, or doing practice interview, of course you're live, but doing a practice interview on Tuesday night at 6:30 your time, Wednesday at 2 o'clock your time, or Thursdays at 4 o'clock your time. All you need to do is send in a resume and a job description. And it doesn't have to be a job description that you're currently interviewing for. You could have seen it and go, oh, that's the perfect job, but I don't want to move to Quebec, but that's a really great job. That would be a good job to interview for. It'd be good practice. Send those things in, tell them when you want to meet, and they will schedule an interview. What happens is there's like 30 of us who will do the interviewing, and you will be, they put out your information to the whole group of interviewers. We look and we go, oh, I know something about project management. I'll sit in on that team. Or I know something about engineering. So you get people who want to interview people in that particular field. And we will then conduct an interview. It'll usually be 2 or 3 interviewers with the interview. It lasts about 45 minutes. There'll be about 15 or 20 minutes of feedback, and you get a recording of the whole process. It's fascinating. Their tagline is practice early, practice often. You probably need to do is 3 to 5 times to be good at what it is you do. Just doing it once isn't going to count. Doing the first time, you'll be like, oh my gosh, this was, tough. We had one gentleman who did it 9 times, but he got the job he wanted at LTV because he was good. After the 5th or 6th time, he just kept doing it to stay in practice. So really, really great information. You can go to dallaspitcrew.com to get more information, or you can just send in information, send a resume and stuff to dallaspitcrew@gmail.com. So every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern time, we're doing a live interview on the air. So tomorrow we should be interviewing somebody. I don't know who that person is yet. I haven't seen the name or what it is they're doing, but you're welcome to watch us. It's on Zoom only. So you would have to get the Zoom link. It's on the CareerDFW calendar or the Career USA calendar. And it's fascinating to watch things. I mean, I've conducted 140 interviews or been a panelist, and you learn something every time. People will go and say something, go, oh, they said that. That was great the way they said that. Or, oops, they really messed up, but here's the only time you're going to get feedback with somebody. Just being able to watch the interview is really a great thing to do. So as I mentioned, in 2020 and 2021, they did a 13-part workshop. So this is about 20 hours of material. It's all on the Career USA YouTube channel, and I'll show you how to get to that in just a little bit. But there's 13 lessons. The first 5 lessons are what to do before the interview. Everything you need to do to prepare before that interview. What do you do if you have limited time? Networking, informational interviewing, how to write a star story, how to really get into that, video interviewing, and how to analyze a job description to make sure you're ready to go. The next 5 lessons are what to do during the interview, what the opening should be, what the closing should be, how do you follow up, compensation, how do you address leaving prior positions, how to ask questions in an interview, how to demonstrate enthusiasm. Listen, if you're going to work for me, you better not just be a lump on the chair. You better show some enthusiasm. And how do you do that? And then the last 3 questions, the last 3 sessions are just some advanced topics. And the last one's a really good one, avoiding interview crashes. Everybody practices, you practice, but sometimes you just still make the same mistakes. Well, here are some of the mistakes that the 2 leaders have found that they want to make sure that you don't do. So it's all available on the Career USA YouTube channel. All right, let's talk about networking here for a little bit. You don't want to, all right, the first line, this was really done before we were all locked down, but you don't want to spend all day in front of a computer. I know, yes, you have to now because of COVID, but when you can get out, I guess what we're talking about here is You don't want to be online looking for jobs all day and filling out applications online. Only 5 to 10% of jobs are found online. 10 to 15% of jobs are found using a recruiter. 75 to 80% of jobs are found networking. You've got to have conversations with people. So you need to set a goal. How many people can I network with 2 people every day? I know somebody who I was on a call on Monday, a bunch of executives, and one guy says, yes, this 2022 is the year of 100 cups of coffee. I plan to have 2 cups of coffee, meeting somebody in person with a networking event every week. So they'll get their 100 cups of coffee in by having 2 in person. Now you can still do something online just like this. Everybody can have a free Zoom account, Facebook, whatever it is, or, Facebook Live, whatever. You can do stuff to be able to just have a conversation with somebody, but reach out to somebody, let people know, that you're looking for a job and how you can help them, because you never know. If you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. Zig Ziglar, I think, said that. All right. Networking into a company. Referrals have a 50% chance of getting a shot, whereas non-referrals have a 2% chance. So if you fill out an online application through an ATS, applicant tracking system, you have less than a 2% chance of getting that phone call. Because if that resume doesn't match up with the keywords in the system, and who knows what that system's designed to do, we don't know what the algorithms are, but if it doesn't match, you got a less than 2% chance of getting a phone call. But if you can fill out that online application and then go to LinkedIn, find somebody in LinkedIn who can possibly help you find a job, or network your way in, you have a 50% chance of getting a phone call if they can get that resume to the hiring manager or to somebody in HR. Reach out to everybody you know. Okay, so what I want to talk about here's a recommendation, is every 3 weeks you need to send an email out, and you send 2 different emails out. One to your friends, family, and your church members. The other one would be to professional contacts that you have. So the very first paragraph, you send this out blind copy so nobody knows who else is getting it. The very first paragraph is, I want to thank the following people for their help over the last few weeks. I want to thank Joe, Sue, Mary, and Sam. Now, nobody knows if anybody helped you. You're just making up names if nobody helped you. But if they did help you, be sure to do it, because they'll see their name there, okay? Oh, this person's helping Joe. I better help Joe too. Why? I should do that too. Second paragraph is, as a reminder, I'm looking for a position as a product manager in consumer packaging. Or I'd like to get some information about the consumer packaging field. Just something to tell somebody what it is you're looking for. Third paragraph is, if you know of anybody who works at the following companies, and list 3 or 4 companies, I would appreciate a invitation. I would appreciate you sharing their contact information with me, however you want to word it. Short, sweet, simple. And then the very last paragraph is, if there's anything I can do to help you, please let me know. If you send this out every 3 weeks, for those who are in sales, everybody here is in sales, but for those professional salespeople that sell stuff beside themselves, you know that it takes 4 to 7 touches before someone's going to be effective in this. So the first time you send this out, maybe nothing. The second week, you may get 1 phone call. The third, fourth, fifth time you do this, you should start to see some traction as people remember, oh yeah, Joe's still looking for something. Let me see how I can help them. Okay, I say send it out every 3 weeks. Somebody else says send it out every 4 weeks. I think 21 days is a really good time frame for this. So we talk about networking on the 2nd and 4th Thursday at 2 o'clock Eastern time, 1 o'clock Central. This Thursday we have a speaker who's talking about networking. He just recently landed a job about 4 months ago, and he's going to talk about his job search and what he's done and what he does in his job search. Listen, networking's all the same. Pick up the phone and call somebody, but everybody does it a little bit differently. So maybe you'll pick a trick or 2 that you can use to do this. So the 2nd and 4th Thursday of the month at 2 o'clock Eastern time, join us. Oh, it says networking Mondays. I got to change that to networking Thursdays. Oops. Just notice that. All right, I'll fix that later. All right, and here is, the people, I mean, these are the amount of different people we've had talking about networking. Okay. If somebody out here is a networking expert and you'd like to present, I'd love to have you come do that. Please reach out to me and let me know you can talk about networking for 45 minutes or an hour, and we'll line you up. I've got plenty of open first or second and fourth Thursdays. Feel free to reach out to me. All right, a couple bonus things before we get done here, and I'll wrap it up. As I said, we've got over 290 workshops are recorded from LinkedIn, interviewing, resumes, networking, and the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group meetings. We've been saving all those things. If you go to the Career USA YouTube channel, click on this green arrow where it says playlist. Otherwise, you see just a jumbled mess of all the different videos. But every video I upload, and I'll upload this video tonight, so it'll be on there. I always stick it into a playlist. Then down below, you can pick networking, North Dallas, LinkedIn, resumes, interviewing, whatever session is you want it. And when you click on that, don't click on the video, but down below where you see the purple arrow, click on view full playlist. Up will come a list of all the different titles and dates that we've talked about things. And you can go back and scan through and find the title that you're looking for. This happens to be the interviewing session, and you can go back and find all the different sessions that are out there. If you're not early, you're late. This is a pet peeve of mine. This bonus section could also be known as Jeff's pet peeve. You need to be on time, okay? To me, 5 minutes early is on time. Who's the football coach that said 5 minutes early is on time and on time is late? I forget who it was, but I live by that mantra. Now, the reason I live by that mantra is I used to work third shift. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, I was ready to go home. But I couldn't go home for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes until the first shift person showed up. Well, you know what? I became her supervisor and I fixed her problem. So, just, be aware. You need, whatever it is you do, be respectful, try to show up, especially if you're going for an interview. If you're going to an interview someplace, I try to be there a half hour early, and I'll sit there with my cue cards and just sort of rehearse what it is I'm doing. I want to know exactly where I'm going, what it looks like. I remember once I had a job interview out in Greenville, Texas, which is about 50 miles from where I live right now. I drove out there the day before because Google Maps didn't exist. I didn't have a cell phone. I just had MapQuest. Everybody remember the old MapQuest things. So, I wanted to know where I was going. And I'm glad I did, because the MapQuest instructions were wrong. So luckily I had time to find out exactly where I was going. It was about a mile off, but still that made a big difference if I was cutting it close. Another one of my pet peeves, you need to make sure that every email you send out has a signature line on there. And just don't have "regards, Jeff." You want to put everything in there. Every email you get from me is going to have all this information on there, because I'm going to put my email address in there, my phone number. I put my LinkedIn address in case you're trying to figure out who I am. Who's this Jeff guy who's trying to reach out to me? Click on it and go, oh yeah, Jeff. I saw him do a presentation for us. So you've got to make sure, if you're using any of the apps on your iPhone or your cell phone, you've got to make sure that you also add that signature line there also. So be sure to put all that information on. Make it easy for somebody. If I could reply to somebody and just say no, but all that information's on there. If they want to pick up the phone and call me, they don't have to go look in their contact information or on my LinkedIn profile. There's my phone number. They can just call me up. Jeff, why'd you say no? So make it easy, easy. Make sure your display name tells people who you are. I love this top one here, WS Cougar 96. When I first saw it, I'm going, I don't think I may have some Cougars who come to my Friday networking group, but I don't think they're 96 years old. WS, oh yeah, this was during March Madness. Washington State University happened to be the Cougars. She graduated in 1996. So this is what you don't do. This is fine for your personal email. And I've told Barbara, This is something I'm going to share with everybody I ever do in a presentation in the future, because this is what you don't do. You know, Mike Gmail, he didn't realize it, but he did something, and Gmail happened to fault his last name. So I contacted him and said, hey, don't forget to take a look. So, you know, here, you know, you see some good names here at the bottom. Make it easy so people know who it is, who you are. Here are the picture of the two front pages from the website, careerusa.org, careerdfw.org. I list groups in the DFW. I list groups around the United States. I don't know if I've got your group listed on here. If it's not on there, please reach out to me and let me know so I can get it added. So if anybody's looking for groups. The resources, I mean, I've got hundreds of files, interview questions, answers, how to put together business cards, thank you notes. It's like a giant file cabinet. I have a career tip of the week that I post every week. It's a 3 to 5 minute read, and you may read it and go, wow, I should have had a V8. Oh man, what a simple technique. I should have applied. I should have been doing this weeks ago. Why didn't I think about doing that? So, you know, check it out. There's a humor section. And like I said, CareerDFW, both of them, you're welcome to check out both sites. So just as a reminder, if you can, please, if you'd like to join the CareerDFW or Career USA LinkedIn groups, please, if you'd like to follow us on Facebook, if you do that, every time you follow us on Facebook, you'll get a little buzz on your phone saying that we're now live, we're now doing something. You can watch the whole presentation on Facebook if we happen to be doing Facebook. And if you subscribe to the Career USA YouTube channel, every time we post a new video up there, you will get you'll get an email saying that Jeff just posted a new video. If you'd like to join the Career USA mailing list, if you're not getting our emails from any other place, you're welcome to do so. You will never be spammed, but what you will get is that you will get the topic of the day, the title of the day, and most importantly, you'll get the Zoom link of the day. That way you can just open the email, grab your lunch, have a late lunch, and come join us at 2 o'clock most of the time, except on Fridays. Career USA, the + subscribe at groups.io. Like I said, nobody else. I'm the only one who puts out emails on it, so you won't get spam. You get 5 or 6 emails a week, one every day. This is me, that's me. You're welcome to, if you have another networking group who you'd like to have me present to, I'm welcome to do so. The other half of this presentation usually is I take you through the websites tab by tab, and I show you what's on the websites. But because of the time we had today, we said we'll just stick to the second part of the presentation about the big 4 things. So if there's anything I can do to help you, please feel free to reach out to me. You know, you can shoot me an email at webmaster@careerdfw.org, or if you go to LinkedIn, you can contact me through LinkedIn. Like I said, I'm on there all the time. So let's see here. I see Randy says, what are the other 2 books that you think are must-haves? Well, one of them happens to be on the screen right now because it's my book. And the other book I believe that everybody should have, or you don't really have to have the book anymore, you need to take Strength Finders. I think the Clifton Strength Finders, I think it's extremely, extremely important because it helps define who you are and tells you what you're good at. And if you're not sure to know how to tell people what you're good at, Strength Finders will help do that, or Clifton Strengths will do it. If you look at my About section, you'll see that I list my 5 top strengths, but you'll see that I do that down below. I use those strengths in sentences so that people can understand what a maximizer is, what deliberate is. You know, if you're a woo, W-O-O on Strength Finders, what's a woo? So you have to make sure you describe that to people. So you'll see that in my About section if you're going to do that. I just give you as a caution. Let's see here, what else? Great presentation. Kimberly, I met you back in 2007. Oh, okay. Wonderful. Oh, Kim Tucker. Oh, yes. I remember Kim. So that's my talk. That's what I have to say. I'm willing to hang out and ask any or answer any questions you've got. Oh yeah, there's Kim. Hi, Kim. So any questions anybody has, please feel free to unmute your mic and ask away.
This is
Chat.
Sarah Madden. I just want to tell you, you are awesome. I have gotten so much out of this. I'm actually retired, but I'm helping someone who is changing careers right now. And I've been taking notes and doing some screenshots as you've been talking. I'm going to shoot him all this information so he can connect with you. So
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and have
Awesome.
them jump in on the workshops we're doing. I mean, I'm putting them on every day. You know,
Yeah. He
they're-
worked full time as an attorney for the government. I'm not sure how he's going to be able to fit it in, but he's clever. He can do it
well, nothing else, nights and weekends, most of them have been recorded.
on
so,
YouTube. Yeah.
you know, you can go back and watch them on YouTube. Like I said, I'll have this one up there. It'll take a couple hours for YouTube to process this, but I will get
Okay.
it up there because I want to share information. I'm here to help you,
It
and
was incredible. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Yeah, I agree, Jeff. I mean, thanks so much. That was just a lot of great advice and guidance. And I know you were talking about the tip of the iceberg, and you got a lot more you could go on with. But I just think, you know, you helped us stay focused on, you know, the right things to be effective. And I got a lot out of this tonight. And you know, we don't pay you for this. But and you talked about it a little bit. I'm wondering if there is something that you want the folks on the call tonight to take away. Is there anything that we can do, that we should do, to maybe follow up with you and provide something back for everything that you gave us tonight?
Well, you know, I would say if you know another job seeker out there who's looking for something, please reach out to them, let them know about the free resources that CareerDFW and Career USA are putting on. You know, to me, it's just the numbers. I mean, you know, my whole goal is to never see you again. Hopefully you're employed. This country needs more taxpayers. So, you know, go get a job, and, you know, you got to support those of us. Well, I'm not on retirement stuff yet, but you know, we just go out and be a job seeker. And you know, if this has helped you, please let somebody else knows who's looking for a job. Let them know about it, because you know, the more people I feel I can reach, the better. Just make it. I get a good feeling at night. I'll sleep well tonight knowing that, you know, there were 22 people on the call tonight. So
Yeah. And would you like us to connect with you on LinkedIn? Is that?
you're welcome to do so. Just send me a personal note. I'll be glad to connect with you if you'd like. If you want to expand your connections, I've got almost 4,000 connections. Like I said, I don't connect with everybody if you don't send me a personal note, but
Right.
you know, yeah, if you'd like to connect, if I've got connections all over. I think Kim and I, we're probably already connected, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Terrific. Great. Well, thank you. And if that wraps it up, maybe we could have Edia close us in prayer.
Okay, let's bow one more time. Oh Lord, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift that you have given us through your servant. Please bless his life, increase him and multiply him. Make his ministry go further and further until he reaches all the people that you want him to reach with your message that you have given to him. As for us, please bless us as we depart from one another. Send us on our way in peace. Make us prosperous. Keep us strong, unbroken, and healthy. Until we meet again in this matter, we give you praise, we give you honor, and we give you glory. We love you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Edia.
Thank you.
We love that. And thank you, everybody. Well, I will, let's see, if someone would like the recording, I should
I'll have it up on the
earlier.
Career USA YouTube channel later tonight, so you can go back and
Okay.
watch it there. Just
Terrific.
go to the tab that says Career DFW and Career USA, Career something or other. I forget what the exact title is. And somebody said, when am I presenting next? My next talk actually is in Houston on Saturday. but it won't be public. So just check the Career DFW calendar or the Career USA calendar. Right there in the very, very middle, we'll have, anytime I'm presenting will be there, and all the links for all the training sessions that we're putting on.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
David,
Yes,
Dave, I'm wondering if we could get the recording though, so that we can put it in our Slack channel for our accountability groups as well.
yes,
I
I
will
can.
send you all the link for the email. I can send you the
Thank you.
link for the YouTube when it gets posted up there tonight. Bob, I don't
Okay.
know if I have your email, Dave, I don't know if I have your email address. I know I have Bob's.
Yeah.
Unless he
Well,
copied
it
me.
is in a thread, but I will, after we hang up, I'll send you a note.
Okay, yeah, and I'll get
All
that,
right.
I'll send the link to you, and that way y'all can publish it.
Terrific. All right. Well, thank you again. That
Thank you.
was fantastic. And appreciate it, everybody. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye.
Jeff, I'll message you through LinkedIn.
Okay, great. Good seeing
All
you.
right. Good seeing you.